Hi, Andrea. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Diana.
Well, today I would like to tell a little bit about your experience as a final year student in art and business design. So maybe can we start by tell me what specialization is about and what kind of projects you've worked on recently? Maybe what of the specialization in our career you do in photography, brand management, illustration. So maybe,
Sure. My specialization is brand management and photography. I focus on how images can tell a story and strengthen a brand's identity. Recently, I've worked on visual campaigns where photography plays a key role in expressing the brand's emotions and values.
yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds really interesting. I remember my days in photography. I don't
Yeah.
like too much though. Well, but what has been the biggest challenge for you during your studies? Maybe you have challenge with your groups, or maybe you have challenge for the studio, or maybe the creativity. What challenge you see in all these 5 years you study?
The biggest challenge for me has been keeping creative while following strict brand guidelines. As photographers, we want to experiment, but sometimes we have to stay conscious with visual identity. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah, I understand. I know that about all the time, the creativity. I don't know why it's very complicated. So.
Yeah.
Maybe, how do you personally manage that balance? You say you study you study two specialization, brand management and photography. What is the balance between the creativity and the brand strategy you doing?
I usually plan my photo shoots carefully. I study the brand's tone and personality first. Then I find creative ways to capture that stylized angles or color. It's all about using creative to reinforce the message.
Yeah, that's very smart. Maybe I can change again my specialization. No, I will think about later, but what skills do you think you develop most through these challenges? Maybe what are you doing in that situation you see in all these 5 years? Maybe you are more flexible, you are more creativity, you're more concentrate, maybe?
I've learned to be resourceful and flexible. Photography doesn't always go as a planned, so I've developed problem-solving skills and learn how to make the most of a limited resource of conditions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I remember that problem we have all the time. Not only photography. In brand management, our project in packaging, I know we need to resolve all these problems. Maybe we don't thinking about it was doing. But what kind of support or resources do you think will help students like you overcoming this challenge? In all these 5 years you study, you see maybe some problems in our university and in our career. Maybe what you can say, who can help the students who are going to study maybe the next year?
The access to better equipment and studio space will help a lot. Also, more collaborations with the students from maybe marketing or audiovisual design will make projects more realistic and dynamic. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I remember that.
yeah.
I don't know why we don't have a better studio photography or more. I don't know why. We can all the time. The teacher says you can use the area of marketing or the visual. They have more instructor, more studio. They have more better everything, and us we don't have nothing. I don't know why, but it's okay. We can help. Please, the new students help us. So maybe he says, but finally, question. What has been
Okay.
the most rewarding part of your specialization? You say you study these two specialization. Maybe what can you say is the best or the rewarding of this part?
Seeing my photos use a part of real branding projects. Knowing that my work helps build and brands imagine feels really fulfilling. Yeah, this.
Yeah, I know that. Maybe one of my projects can be in the real life in a real company. Well,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Well, thank you, Andrea, for sharing your thrills and experience. And congratulations, my friend. You are in the final year in this career, so maybe you can say, yeah, I can work now.
Thank you. It's been great to talk about it.
Yeah, thank you. Goodbye, my friend.
Bye.
Hi, Myra. Thank you for being here today, my friend.
Hi, Diana.
Well, I would like to talk a little about your experience as a final year student in art and business design, our career, your career. So, could you start by telling me what are your specialization, how it's about, and what kind of projects you've been working recently? We know our career have different specialization for branch management, create products, illustration, animation, photography. What specialization are you doing, my friend?
Sure, my specialization is manager. I focus on creative strategies and visual systems that help branding communication effectively. Rentably, I work on rebranding projects and campaigns that connect design and with marketing.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. Yeah, I remember that days when we have the simulations for the campaigns to create a new project, new ideas for some cases of some maybe companies. I remember that. I consider the best specialization in our career is brand management, but it's not continue to delegate this. So maybe what has been the biggest challenge for you during your studies?
I think the biggest challenge is standing out in so competitive field. Many designs and work and similar ideas. So I think of lots of course to create something original that also work strategically.
Yeah, I understand that. We are in the same situation. It's a biggest, uh, I don't know, it's a competitive file. We have a lot of people we work in the same place, they work in the same specialization, and we need to be the most original, to have different ideas, to have a good place to work in an agency creativity or in a company specifically. So I know that. And how do you personally manage that balance between, you say you study brand management, but I know it's not all to create a brand, it's the creativity you need to implement, you said, or to have original ideas. So what you doing or what you try?
I try to focus on brand purpose. Once I understand its mission and audience, I can develop creative solutions that feel authentic and meaningful. For me, creativity works best with a left the purpose.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. I know the brand is not only focusing the brand. I know is to understand, to have a mission, to have how we keep the audience for this. So I know that the creativity works best. Yeah, I know the if we are don't alienate that purpose or we don't have the a good focus or to have the branch for this company, it will be sometimes difficult. But it's okay. What skills do you develop most through this challenge? Maybe you have you consider some skills you doing in some projects, or you are very a good leader, or maybe you are a person who can very quickly solve all the things maybe.
Leadership and critic thinking.
Okay.
Brand manager requires making decisions and coordinates with others. So I am leader to organize teams and this strategy about every visual choice.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I know leadership and critical thinking. Yeah, I implement too. Sometimes I'm trying to implement too the problem solving quickly because it's no the brand management is not only working to create all the brand. It's not only take a decision for to the future campaigns. It's to be very quickly to have a teammate and working the next steps when it's ready to have campaigns in the moment in the real moment, and we need to try to solve if we have problems with the audience or we have problems with some creative pieces. So that's why. And what kind of support or resources you think will help students like you overcoming this challenge? Maybe we know the next year will come in more students. And what can you say about to be prepared? Maybe.
More real world experiences like internships, client-based projects, or networking events that kinds of course helps us understand how the industrial world and that company expected for you doesn't.
Yeah, I know it makes sense. Yeah. For example, for me, I remember I was very the need to go to try the international programs for Disney. When I was there, I was open my world. It was I like this industry to have the opportunity to evaluate this place to evaluate how is the audience in United States, how I can apply some projects here. Maybe I can doing some of these projects here. I know it was it was open my mind, so I can say. But it's okay. What has been the most rewarding part of your specialization so far?
For me, it's seeing how design decisions can shape people and perspective of the brand. It's amazing to see an idea
Hmm.
into something that
Yeah,
connects
that's
people.
wonderful, my friend. Yeah, I know that. So I know it's a decision you can shape. Yeah, I know. So it's something, yeah, to connect with the audience. I can say we say in all these interviews to connect. Well, it's okay. We need to go now, my friend. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and experience, my friend. So and I can say congratulations, my friend. You're in the final. Well, you're in the final year. So congratulations and thank you for this interview, my friend. Okay. Hi, Majo. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Diana.
Well, for start, I would like to tell a little about your experience as a final year student in art and business design. Maybe you could start. Maybe tell me what are your specialization is, what is about that, and what kind of projects you work in recently. We know that our career have different specialization: animation, illustration, photography. What are you studying, my friend?
Well, sure. In my case, my specialization is illustration and brand management. I focus on creating visual concepts that express a brand identity through illustration. Lately, I've been working on branding projects that combine storytelling and digital illustration to make brands more expressive and memorable.
Well, that sounds really interesting. This was I can study maybe illustrator. No. Okay. What has been the biggest challenge for you during your studies? We know we have a different challenge, not only for the creative blocks, is well, teamwork. Maybe what is your experience about the biggest challenge you have in all these 5 years?
Mm, in my experience, the hardest challenge is finding the balance between artistic freedom and strategic goals. Sometimes, as illustrator, we want to be expressive and original, but brands need, in some cases, messages that are clear and aligned with their audience. It's not always easy to meet both worlds.
Yeah, I understand too. I know to have this balance. Yeah, I know the base of graphic design is the brand management, but to try
Mhm.
to have not the balance for this experience is very difficult
Oh,
sometimes.
yes.
Yeah. And how do you personally manage that balance between the creativity and brand strategy? Your study illustration and brand management too. So what is your secret about that?
I always start by researching the brand, specifically its values, audience, and competitors. That gives me a framework to guide my creativity. I've learned that strategy doesn't limit art, it gives the direction.
Yeah, that's a good point, really. Yeah, we know about the brand is not only to create, to have the audience, to keep the audience of the competitors, is to to give away for the creativity. We know, and strategy too. Yeah, we need to all the time to have strategy. Um, Maybe what skills do you think you're developing most through these challenges? Maybe what are your best skills you see all the time when you're doing the projects or team workings too?
Well, definitely communication and adaptability, I think. I've learned to explain my creativity choices better and to adjust my idea based on feedback. It's helped me grow both as a designer and as a professional.
Yeah, definitely. Communication and activity is the base for everything. It's not only for you need to, we are graphic designers, we need to communicate with different persons on other careers and the activity, well, sometimes we need to actively about the situation too. What kind of support or resources do you think will help students like you overcoming these challenges? We know the next year will come in new students our career. Maybe what can you say the teachers or the university can help for these students or maybe?
Well, in my opinion, I think mentorship programs would be really helpful because basically uh, having professionals share their real experiences. Also, more workshops focused on client communication and creative project management would make us feel more prepared for the real world.
Yeah, that's make a lot of sense. We need to be more prepared about the real life is going working because only if we have some examples or maybe imaginary cases, it not helps too much because there's a different way for the real world.
Mhm.
Well, it's okay. Finally, the last question. What has been the most rewarding part of your specialization so far? We know we have you study 5 years, maybe what is your best part or most rewarding?
Um, Well, for me, it's very gratificating seeing how my illustrations can actually influence how people perceive a brand. When creativity becomes part of the brand story, for me, It's incredibly satisfying.
Yeah, I know, me too. When I do some projects of brand management or my working with my some friends to have to see in the reality on the final or in the streets, he say, "Wow, that's my brand satisfied that. It was incredible." It's stressful first, but yeah,
I
but
know.
yeah, it was wonderful. Well, thank you, Majo, for being such sharing your experience. So thank you so much, and congratulations, my friend. You're in the final year for your studies.
Oh my God, thank you, Diana. Well, it was a pleasure talking about it.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. So see you.
See you.